Hey everybody, it's Becky. I'm back. I was away a little longer than I intended to be originally, but as you can tell by my voice, I'm on the tail end of a cold here. So I am still working on Frosty Forest Friend, which is a Diamond Art Club painting by Donna Gelsinger, however she says her name. It is a 19.7 inch by 26.4 inch, which is 50 centimeters by 67. It is a square drill, and as you can see, I'm up in this tree area. Pardon me, my table's an absolute wreck right now. We had to use it for wrapping Christmas presents and all of that jazz. So I'm kind of disheveled and trying to get back into where I normally am with my diamond painting. I have a couple of new paintings that I was gifted. We did our Christmas party for my company, which you all know I work from home, so it's a virtual Christmas party. Let me grab my new paintings right quick and show you. Bear with me here. So I was gifted, what we did was everybody who wanted to participate in the gift swap put their name in, and we used a website called Elfster where you create your own wish list, and whoever your Secret Santa is picks an item or two or three or whatever within the budget and sends those to you. So I put on there a 6-pack of diamond paintings that I love, and they may look a little bit familiar. Let's see if we can zoom you in a bit there. So there's one. There's another. I'm going to wait to tell you guys what inspired this pack until somebody in the comments guesses what it is. There's number 3 from the pack. Number 4. Now these may look familiar to some of you, one of you in particular. There's the 5th one. And last but not least, number 6. So this 6-pack here was inspired by, you guessed it, Lazy Retired Granny, who recently completed this 6-pack. I just absolutely loved them. I thought they were adorable and came out so well. So I thought, that's well within the budget that we were given. So that's the gift that I was given. They also got me a pack of the straightener tips, like these, a bit longer. Again, my desk is a hot mess, and I don't know where anything is right now. Okay, Christmas. So I got those and the little straightener tips from my Secret Santa. Let me pack these back away right quick. And then the company also chose to send everybody. We got to talking about diamond painting in our little break room thread one day. And so the company was like, oh, that sounds like a fun little activity. We can just get everybody a diamond painting for Christmas. So they chose a diamond painting, just a little cheapy Amazon one to send out to everybody as a gift so that everyone who wanted to try it could. I'm not going to share that one that I got because I'm pretty sure that the image is actually one that is done by either Diamond Art Club or one of the other premium licensed brands. And I don't want to share that artwork on a non-licensed image. So it's a little, it's got like a cabin on one side and a couple of red Adirondack chairs by a campfire. It's only a 30 by 40, so the detail's not going to be as good as the one that would come from, you know, premium diamond painting companies that, you know, render these in a size that works for the image to give it the detail it needs. But I have that one actually on my work desk, and I'm working on it slowly by, you know, in between working, like when we have a little downtime here and there. So that one will get finished and I'll show it off to my coworkers. But like I said, I'm pretty certain it's a stolen image, so I don't want to share it on here. I'll never knowingly share stolen artwork. I understand that not everybody can afford premium painting prices, and therefore I won't ever shame anybody for using them, but I choose not to share them here. You probably see a little green circle on my hand. A friend of mine needed me to take her grandson to a basketball game today, and they were like, here, let's mark your hand so we know that you paid. And I'm like, I really don't want you to, but... And they were using a Sharpie. They weren't even using like some kind of like hand stamp or anything like that. They just literally green Sharpie. And I'm like, that's never coming off. I've washed my hands like, I don't know, 17, 18 times already today since then. And that was an afternoon game. So I don't think it's coming off anytime soon. May have to get a little rubbing alcohol or something and put on it. So, I am still really far behind on everybody's videos, but I am working my way through them. While we were on our cruise, we opted not to purchase the internet package. They do have internet available on the cruise ship. If you're looking at taking a cruise, just so you know, Royal Caribbean, it's like $25 per day for internet per day. And so we, you know, our purpose was to get away from it all. So we opted not to choose the internet package, and just stayed disconnected. Now, when we were in ports where we had Wi-Fi, available, like at the port, we got online and like caught back up with family and friends, so they knew that we were still alive. And we had an emergency phone call plan on our cell phones, in case we did need to get a hold of anybody or anybody needed to get a hold of us. So we ended up not using that, but it was one of those you only pay if you use it kind of situations. So anyway, so our cruise was fabulous. The weather was wonderful. There was one port that got a bit of rain while we were there, but it was literally like quick shower, like 3 to 5 minutes, and then it was gone and the sun was back out. And the rest of the time, the weather was like absolutely immaculate. We had really calm seas for the most part. There was a couple of points where we hit, you know, like a big wave or whatever, but nothing drastic. We had a really great time in all of our ports. I'll start going through and telling you guys a little bit about each one that we went to and what we did and how we felt about it over the next couple of weeks or so as I catch back up on making videos. But we flew to San Juan, Puerto Rico as kind of an overview. Puerto Rico was the port where we boarded the ship. Beautiful little harbor, and at that point it was just get on the ship. And it was kind of late in the afternoon, so we were pretty hungry, so we got, you know, we dropped our bags off in our room, and then we went pretty much straight to our the buffet that they have on the ship so we could get something to eat. The food was delicious the whole time we were gone. I didn't take as many pictures of our food as what I do typically, so what I'll do is on the community page, each day that I'm talking about the cruise and getting into more detail, I'll share on the community page pictures of like what we did, what we ate kind of stuff. And that way you guys can kind of see what all we saw without me necessarily having to try to edit these videos together and, you know, make a slideshow, blah, blah, blah. I'm not that technically savvy. But yeah, we got on board, we ate our dinner by that point, and then we just kind of explored the ship for a bit. The next day of our cruise was a sea day, so we were out sailing the whole day. Sorry, I just whacked you guys here. So we set sail, and that whole day we were at sea. So lots of exploring the ship and playing like trivia games, things like that. We took in a show. They had a comedian that did a really good show, and I'm just trying to top off this bottle because I'm in an area where I'm using a lot of this number 14, which is DMC code 646. It's kind of a brownish green color. Got lots of trash going on right now. Anyway, so we just in general had a good day on the ship, and then our first port of call was Barbados, which we absolutely we liked it. It was fun to walk around. We didn't actually book an excursion there. I think we would have liked it more if we had booked an excursion, because we would have seen more of the island. But there was a craft shop, like a craft village that was a few blocks from the port that I really wanted to see, and I was like, well, let's go walk to that. We won't worry about doing an excursion, because of course you have to pay for each excursion that you take. And so we're like, let's, you know, do all the shopping that we want, and then like maybe we'll get a taxi over to a beach or something. We ended up not taxiing to a beach. By the time we got done walking and shopping, we were like, okay, let's grab a cab. But then like they sat us in a cab, and they were like, okay, hang on, let's, you know, they put us in like an 8 or 10 passenger van, and we're like, okay, well, hang on, we'll get a few more people that are headed that same direction. Well, it's late in the afternoon. Everybody that wanted to go to the beach pretty much was there. And so we ended up, we're like, you know, we're tired, we want to go back to the ship. So we gave up on waiting for the taxi to leave and went back to the ship, where we pretty much just ate and vegged out. And at some point we got in the pool. I don't remember what day it was. They kind of all ran together at some point. our next stop was Trinidad, and in Trinidad we had booked a tour. Was it Trinidad that we did? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Trinidad. We did the what they call the Coroni Bird Sanctuary, and basically you go out on a little flat bottom boat, and they take you through this like swampland, which it really looked, you know, what I would refer to more as like a river-fed lake. It didn't seem swampy to me, but you know, what do I know? I don't live around swamps. Anyway, so you're on this boat. They're like, you know, we ask everybody to, you know, remain relatively quiet so you don't scare off the wildlife, and you know, if you see something, say something. So everybody was like, you know, the guide was like, here's what you're looking for, and as soon as he saw something, he would you know, stop and back up, make sure that everybody got a chance to see what he was pointing out. So I thought he was a really good guide. He didn't say like a whole lot as far as like teaching about the swamplands or anything like that, but the point was to see the birds, not learn, you know, a ton of stuff. So we did the swamp, and we did see a couple of snakes in the trees, which I know not everybody's a fan of snakes, so, you know, skip that part. They were tough to see because they were the same color as the branches. And then we also saw flamingos out in the wild, which is something I didn't think about seeing while we were out there. You know, we were there to see the scarlet ibis, which is the, you know, bird that the island is famous for. It's a really pretty red bird. Like I said, I'll talk more in depth about each island and send, you know, pictures through the community page and all that. We saw lots of other birds as well, but I was excited to see the flamingos. I was not expecting that, so that was exciting. I didn't get great pictures of them because they were so far off. He couldn't get any closer because he didn't want to frighten them off. But that was just, it's a really nice, peaceful trip. We did a little shopping when we got back to the port, and then got back on the ship and, you know, had lunch and went on to our next island, which was Tobago. Tobago, we were supposed to have had a trip booked for a glass bottom boat, where like there's like a plexiglass section cut out of the bottom of the boat, and you can see the sea life going as you're traveling along. I had booked that through a group on Facebook, and I'm not at all bashing the group on Facebook. The lady that arranged it, it was no fault of her own, but our guide did not show up. The person that was supposed to pick us up and take us over to this boat. They were just a no-show. When we got home, I contacted the lady that made the arrangements, and she's like, well, that is really unusual for, you know, for this person. I've never had them not show up for, you know, for a tour. And so she got in contact with the company and was like, hey, what's going on? Apparently our tour guide had a medical emergency en route to pick us up, and she had sent a replacement, but it was not a very safe port to like stand outside and just wait for somebody. Like, there were a lot of people there waiting to take advantage of tourists, and so like we were not comfortable waiting. We waited about 30 minutes extra past the time the person was supposed to be there, and we finally were like, yeah, no, we're not gonna wait any longer. We went back to the cruise ship, and we ended up booking a different tour, and that tour turned out to be really, really interesting. We actually really enjoyed it. Anyway, so I, like I said, we got back home and I contacted the lady, and she was like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. And I'm like, well, we did pay for the tour in full in advance. I said, is there, I know that, it was not necessarily the company's fault. And I know you say that they tried to remedy it, but, is there any way we can get our money back on it? And she's like, well, contact the company directly. I've explained the situation and they've agreed to give you a refund, but you've got to, contact them and initiate it. And I'm like, okay, that's no problem. So I found the company on Facebook, like the direct company, not the third party I had booked through. And I was like, hey, I'm Becky, and this was our situation. And they're like, we are so sorry. We absolutely hate that happened. And, we had even tried to call the company while we were there, and nobody had answered their phone number that we had. They're like, it's just a bad situation and we hate that it happened, and here's your money back. So they did refund us in full, which was nice. I was fully prepared for that to be a fight, and it wasn't, so I'm grateful for that. Would absolutely try to go with that company again if I ever am back in Tobago, because it was a trip that I really wanted to go on. But we'll see if we can't make that happen another time. From there, our next stop was St. Lucia, which is an absolutely beautiful island. On St. Lucia, we ended up doing what's called a Sea Trek helmet dive. Basically what they do is they put you out in the ocean in a like astronaut type helmet is kind of what it feels like. And you go through, and they have air pumping into this helmet the whole time. So it's like super easy to breathe, and you just walk along the ocean floor, and it's in a cove. So it's not like, you don't have like huge waves hitting you. It's very well protected from the elements, really. And so we get out there, and they take us out to these areas that they have staged to encourage wildlife to go ahead and stay in that area. So we saw lots of little fish, nothing like huge, but it was exciting to get to do something like that, because I've always wanted to, scuba dive or snorkel or, any of those type things. I don't know how to swim, so it makes it real hard to do those things. But the Sea Trek helmet dive, like their website was like, you don't have to be able to swim. You can wear your glasses underneath the helmet. Like, I'm blind as a bat. I cannot see a darn thing without my glasses on. So that was a selling point. And they were like, you don't have to be able to swim, blah, blah, blah. So I was like sold. So we went through and we did that. That was such an exciting thing. I got most of it on video. You're not underwater for like a super long time because, of course, there's a limit to how much oxygen is in the tank that you're strapped to. You're not strapped to. It's like floating above you on the surface. So anyways, watch some videos of it. It's really, really cool. Originally, we had planned on doing that in St. Martin. For whatever reason, that got canceled a few weeks before our cruise. And so we had plenty of time to book the St. Lucia one instead. I would definitely go back and do the St. Martin one at a later date if we're ever back there. And of course, obviously, if it's available. Because their setup is a little different as far as like their staging areas and things like that. So, it's pretty cool to see the different areas. And of course, you're going to see different wildlife each time. So that was honestly my favorite adventure that we had. My husband loved it too. He, you know, he hurt for a couple days after because that helmet that you're wearing on land without any buoyancy, that thing is like 75 pounds. Now, when you're in the water and you're, you know, you've got the buoyancy of the water and, you know, they put like a little balloon type thing on top that helps take a little bit more of the weight off of it, so you don't hardly feel it underwater, or I didn't at least. My husband says that he did. But we both really enjoyed it, and we'll definitely do that again. Let's see here. From there, we went to St. Martin. St. Martin, we had scheduled, once our Sea Trek helmet dive got canceled, we ended up doing a island tour on a bus instead. It was a pretty good tour for the most part. Like, we saw a lot of the island. It's a beautiful place, and again, I would go back and explore some more if we ever had the chance to. But our driver there did leave a little to be desired. When we were in Aruba last summer, we had a bus driver that took us on an island tour. He did the absolute best tour, like hands down. Really, really enjoyed it. And so I think all other bus tours after that are going to be, you know, scrutinized a little bit more. Anyway, so we saw most of the island in St. Martin. We went to both sides, both the French and we started on the Dutch and we went over to the French side. Our tour guide was not a huge fan of the French side, to be honest with you, and it really showed in the way he talked about it. We did get to go to a couple of open air markets there. There is a cheese store, like actual cheese, it's called the Amsterdam Cheese Store, and I'm a sucker for cheese. So I absolutely wanted to go to that. We had plenty of time. I got me a couple of different kinds of Gouda cheese, and so we did a little exploring there on our own after the tour. And then it was back on the ship, and we headed back to Puerto Rico. And one thing that I did not realize, you know, because my husband handled the airline stuff, I did not realize how early we were getting off the ship versus how late in the afternoon our flight left. So we spent majority of that day in the airport in Puerto Rico. Next time we do a cruise like that, honestly, we'll probably see if there's a tour or something that we can book in between getting off the ship and going to the airport. They had trips available, but I like I said, did not realize until like we were getting off the ship. I'm like, what are we going to do at the airport from like 9 o'clock in the morning till like 5 o'clock in the afternoon? So I know the San Juan, Puerto Rico airport really well. I think I walked every bit of it. I'm pretty sure I could tell you where everything was. We had a good time. There were several people that got off of our ship that we had visited with various times throughout the cruise that were also stuck in the airport all day like us, because they too did not think to book a excursion or anything in San Juan in between getting off the ship and getting on their plane. So sat and visited with them and kind of, you know, talked about our different parts of our cruises and like what they did versus what we did excursion wise and things like that. So overall, definitely had a great time. I think next time we decide to cruise, you know, we enjoyed the ship we were on. But one of the things, like, my in-laws cruise quite a bit, and when they go on their cruises, they go on a higher end cruise line, and a lot of times the cruise fare on that cruise line is like buy one get one free, or they throw in the airfare and things like that. So we may, next time we're ready to plan a cruise, we may end up looking at cruising on the cruise line that my in-laws take. It'll open up some more areas for us to explore. It'll give us a different taste of cruising. You know, the cruise we were on was pretty budget friendly. I think my cat just did something weird. I don't know. Something fell. Anyway, so yeah, had a great time. Glad to be home. Definitely glad that this cold is almost gone so I can get back to videoing on a fairly regular basis. Lazy Retired Granny, yes, I do plan on starting a dreamy retreat on doing the kit up on New Year's Eve, maybe a day or two ahead of time, depending on what our New Year's Eve plans end up being, because I really have no clue what we're doing. I don't think there's anything actually planned yet. So once we kind of know some plans and I know whether or not I'm going to be home or if we're going to be away, then I will, you know, let you know some better plans. And I'm kind of wrapping up for the night. If you can't tell, I'm tired. Anyway, so I'll let you know kind of closer to that date, like, you know, but yes, I'm definitely starting it in the new year. I am still planning on doing the 1 a month 30 by 40 paintings that I got in my 12 pack last summer. I think it was over the summer that I did that. And that way, you know, I have something going at all times. Yes, a dreamy retreat. I'm planning on that one taking at least 2, if not 3 months. I know when I did the Golden Valley, it took me a solid 6 weeks to do that one, so I figure it's going to take even longer to do a dreamy retreat because it is so much bigger. But you know, I'll take some time at the beginning or end of each month and do one of my little 12-pack paintings just to kind of give myself a break and a little bit more instant gratification by doing a little one in between. But yeah, that is all I've got for right now. I'll get caught up with everybody over the next couple weeks or so, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great night, morning, day, whatever time of day it is for you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.